But anyway, let's take a look at this. If you're watching live on the YouTube channel, again, Sundays, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, there is a new radio, the IC7760. And I don't know how much time you boys have spent with it, but I was just mainly looking at the photographs. And I can tell this little 2-inch. This, sorry. I knew it, damn it. I knew it. I knew I was too long a pause. Sorry, Sherry. Sorry there. But what do you call that? There's a little, like a filter, like, what is it, 2-inch off the side of the main screen display.
There's right something above
new.
The main knob.
Yeah.
Like a little auxiliary display. I don't know what ICOM refers to.
See you on Monday.
So
what is that?
It has a filter, but it's a multi-display. You can bring up the filter, and I saw some pictures of other displays on there. So I'm thinking it's just and that particular picture shows it as a bandpass filter. So, but what kind of got me was it kind of borrowed from the Kenwood TS990, where they have the above their tuning knob. You could have the old school and just this little 2.5-inch screen. So in the case of this radio, they have the filters as you go through it. And this one looks like it's just the bandpass filter. Really? So I would mean there's a selection of that.
Scotty, what do you think?
It's cool. I don't know much about it, just like most people don't yet. But the face is detachable. So it's very similar to a flex radio in that regard, in that you have a main body and then you have the face. And it's from what I've seen so far, it's kind of a flex radio sort of style of rig.
It's a control head. What it is?
Yeah, control head.
It's like the Maestro
capabilities, and yeah, it's really, really cool.
So what's kind of interesting in this radio, so there's a couple of things with it. This is a 200-watt continuous duty radio. So if you're into FT8, RTTY, it's continuous duty, so you can go down. It's the transistors are rated for 450 watts, what they claim, but it's a continuous 200-watt transmit. So, well, for 1 hour, if I was looking at the specs earlier today. So it's a pretty beefy, PA. So it's rated at 200 watts, 50 watts AM. And but the only interconnection between the control head and the body, or the radio, the RF, is Ethernet. So they recommend a 1 gig network. So, but one thing that Ray pointed out that I picked up on during the unveil that was streamed yesterday was the for your CW guys, you plug your CW key into the control head, not the radio. So
cool.
So this kind of brings up an interesting situation, is that you can have this control head on your bench or on your desk in your shack, but the RF can be elsewhere as long as it's on the same LAN network. Can't do it over the internet because there's latency issues that they got to deal with, but think about it. You can have, if I was building a contest station, brand new off the ground, and I was going to build a multi station, I would be starting to look at this radio, because you can have a shack, a little, tough shed or whatever, building out by your towers or wherever your antennas are out in the field, run Ethernet cable out to the shack, and now all your RF is out there.
You're right up with the antennas, really short coax runs, and then
exactly
long,
and then
network cable back to the shack.
As long as you're under 100 meters, but there's more. You can go fiber and convert it over. As long as you're on the same network, you can put all your RF, your amplifier, the PW2, which will integrate with this radio, could all be out into this building. And if I was building a contest station, say it was 4 positions or whatever, and I had 4 towers or 5 towers, that was one radio per band and stuff like that, that would be the way to go. Just think about all the RF that you won't have back into your shack, into your operating position. So there's some versatility with this radio, but it's interesting. They've increased the filters, and supposedly it'll be interesting to see once it, Ray's hoping that it will bump, be up there in the on the Sherwood receiver test. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities with this radio based on what they were selling, listing for in the Japanese market. It looks like it's going to be $6,100, give or take.
$6,100.
Jesus Christ.
Ricardo has chimed in and says at 200 watts, also D-Expeditions will have a little more power. So there's a benefit. Scotty, what do you make of this?
I think it's pretty cool. I've as much of a Yaesu fanboy I am, I have my long-term radio outlook. I was kind of looking at flex radios for, when I get a little older, get a little more money. And this is right there, a similar form factor, also a similar price range. I haven't used many ICOM radios, but it's absolutely stunning. Look at that; it's gorgeous. The dual VFOs, that little auxiliary multi display. I really like the fact that the control panel is detachable, and you can put as Steve was saying, put the main body of the radio out where the antennas are, and run a coax, run a network cable back to the shack. Yeah, it looks like a real contender for contest stations for sure.
Rob, November 8, Papa, Sierra Papa says you won't heat up the ham shack either with radios. So there you go. Very nice. On the did it make it move register, Steve, does this make it move down there in the ding ding?
I like it. I'll predict that, in a few years, Yaesu their next radio will probably follow the same suit of what they're doing here. They're going to go and see how the market goes. If it becomes pretty, popular. I mean, it's not going to be like the 7300. It's not a big game changer, but it's taking the 7610, which has been around a while, and now it's taken to another level. Next step. It's not taking it up to 7800 area. I mean, it's kind of being priced right in the middle there between the 7610 and the 7851, 7851, and it's going to be a pretty good contender. I mean, if you went to Dayton this year, you saw the guts, and there was the guesses, and it was kind of interesting. I've been kind of looking forward to yesterday since Dayton, just to see what it was going to be. Yeah, and I mean,
like looking at the boards and trying to figure, all right, there's some sorry, it's got a tuner. We can see that, and what the hell is it?
Yeah. So just to clarify, Steve, the question was, did it make it move for you?
Yeah.
Good answer, Steve. One more before I go to Scotty. Steve, this is a specific buyer, right?
Oh, yeah. This is going to be for the serious amateur that's into probably contesting or want to build a contest station. Someone, I don't know how much it's going to play in the D-Expeditions, but I think it could play a big role. But what's kind of come down the pipe with will it go in competition with the RIB, the radio in a box, which is being tested out there on a few islands, and but with the limitation of the cable length. But I can't see this being out on a D-Expedition where they just put, okay, we're going to put all the radios here and all the filtering, all the amplifiers, and we just bring back a network. We're just going to have a network cables coming back, and the operators will be in a tent or a structure at the D-Expedition site, and they won't have to worry about the RF, and the RF will be away. So I see a lot of possibilities with this layout. It's not for everyone. I've already seen, I peruse QRZ, and there's a lot of people poo-pooing it. They just oh no, I don't want to have a detachable head. No, and it's not a detachable head. The radio is the radio. The only thing to connect to it is the Ethernet cable and a few other odds and ends. But for the most part, you have basically, think of a 705 on steroid case, or that will sit on your desk, that takes up so much less room than the full-size radio. So even if you don't take it out to the antennas, you put it underneath, having the RF deck underneath the desk on the floor, or on a shelf just above the floor, is a huge game changer. So this is, and if the filtering comes in and what they've done with the receivers, I think it's going to be a contender for the 101 Deltas and the 101 MPs, the latest and greatest that Yaesu has. So it's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes number one on the list.
Scotty, same question. Did you feel it move?
Yes, there is. There's definitely some movement. It's a pretty sweet looking rig.
Wing.
Oh, good deal.
Showing.
Good deal. Yeah. So I think we gave a good synopsis of that. That's definitely a specific radio for a specific need, specific person. It reminds me of that connectivity, reminds me of going way back. Nothing like this now, but the 7100 had that sort of cable away from the, and you could take it and just have that little head, the little radio head there working for you. So we'll come back and we'll talk about the Yaesu.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsinawire.com.